This is a declassified audio report of the Department of Spatial Integrity. The incident is dated October of 1974. Object: the Daly Center Building, Chicago, Illinois. 31 floors. On the 12th of October at 11:14, the building dispatch service reported malfunction of elevator car number 9. The car ignores commands. Activation occurs at night without passengers. On the 13th of October, the Otis Company conducted an audit. Mechanical systems are functional. However, the floor selector registers an additional stop point between the 5th and 6th levels. This point does not exist in the building layout. Night shift record dated the 11th of October, time 2:37. Car number 9 completed 3 descent cycles without a call. Movement is spontaneous. The car is empty. Visual control. The car descended below the 0 level. Depth exceeded the foundation mark. From the sealed subsection of the sublevel, the sound of arrival was recorded. Cycle duration 42 seconds. The car returned empty. The department intercepted a maintenance request. The address matched the archive Special Project 4. A concrete caisson is located beneath the building. Depth 42 feet. Designation command post of the Department of Defense. Operational from 61 through 64. Continuous readiness status. Personnel rotation every 72 hours. On the 12th of June 64, the object was sealed. Disconnection from the power grid. Ventilation dismantled. Elevator locked. Memorandum of the Chief Engineer dated the 12th of June 64. The object is sealed in a ready condition. Systems in passive standby mode. Power supplied from a reserve line. Automatic reactivation protocol requires no personnel. Systems are rated for an operational cycle of 50 years. 50 years. 10 have passed. Reactivation is scheduled for the year 2014. The elevator activated in 74. Analysis of electrical billing records shows excess consumption of 12%. Continuous. Source not identified. Equivalent to industrial ventilation operating in uninterrupted mode. In a location where all systems have been shut down for 10 years. On the 13th of October, an agent was assigned to the building. Cover fire safety inspector. Objective visual verification of the sealed volume. Determination of the cause of activity. A Special Project 4 package was issued. Foundation diagrams. Elevator specifications. Lockout bypass code. Oral briefing from the handler. If the car initiates descent in automatic mode, do not interrupt. Await completion of the cycle. Intervention is prohibited. No justification was provided. On the 14th of October, elevator car number 9 was removed from service. Official designation maintenance. The operation was scheduled for the night of the 14th of October, time 0200. The nature of the activity at the time of the operation was not established. On the 14th of October at 0200, the agent arrived at the site. Building security personnel received instructions to remain clear of elevator shaft number 9 for the duration of the operation. The agent entered the elevator car. The control panel contains floor selection buttons from the 1st through the 31st levels. No designations for subterranean levels are present. According to the technical manual from the Special Project 4 package, the software lockout bypass procedure requires entry of a physical code. Sequence simultaneous hold of the door close and stop keys followed by input of the combination 14071. The code was entered at 0215. The following system response was recorded. A voltage drop in the main building power grid of 6%. Illumination indicators on the control panel deactivated. Standby lighting in the first floor lobby ceased operation for 4 seconds. Restoration occurred automatically. Field instruments carried by the agent registered an electromagnetic impulse. The source was localized below the 0 level. Impulse duration was less than 1 second. Signal characteristics do not correspond to standard reserve relay response to load variation. The car initiated downward movement at 0216. Speed exceeded standard operational parameters. Vibration levels were recorded above regulatory thresholds. Acoustic profile of movement does not correspond to guide rail operation. A low-frequency hum was recorded identical to industrial-type ventilation equipment. Air temperature inside the car decreased by 3 degrees Celsius during the interval from 0217 through 0221. Air composition altered. Elevated ozone content detected. Concentration is characteristic of zones with active high-voltage electrical equipment. The car passed the zero level without deceleration. Descent continued. A stop was registered at 0226. Depth of stop 42 feet below the zero reference. Floor indicator light did not activate. Car doors opened with a delay of 5 seconds. The agent conducted a visual inspection of the exit airlock of sublevel -4. A steel door was observed bearing the marking Sector 4 Technical Access Restricted. Conservation seals dated the 12th of June, 1964 remain intact. However, moisture condensation was recorded on the metal surface. Door temperature measured 6 degrees below ambient air temperature within the shaft. No physical explanation for this effect has been established. Control air sampling indicated oxygen content reduced to 19%. Elevated ozone presence persists. The agent registered an acoustic anomaly. A low-frequency hum was audible beyond the steel door. Sound profile corresponds to a low-power electric motor operating in idle mode. The sound source is localized within the sealed volume. According to official records, all electrical equipment of the object was disconnected from the grid on the 12th of June, 1964. The agent exited the car at 0228. The car was placed in door hold mode to maintain an evacuation route. Acoustic activity beyond the steel door persisted at the moment of agent departure from the car. Physical contact with the sealed volume is officially initiated. The agent crossed the threshold line at 0230. Central distribution corridor of sublevel -4. Walls of monolithic concrete. Surface coated with industrial enamel gray in color. A layer of settled dust covers the floor. No signs of movement. The object has not been visited since sealing in '64. Temperature is stable. Humidity moderate. Air circulation absent. Lighting is operational. A duty circuit of incandescent lamps in reduced power mode. Power source not identified. At 0237, the agent reached the central control hall. 3 rows of operator consoles. Equipment without power. However, faint illumination of indicators was recorded on several panels. At the center of the hall stands a steel table. On the table, a stationary Ampex tape recorder. Adjacent, an ashtray containing 3 cigarette butts. A notebook with a leather cover. On the open page, a single entry reads, "Cycle completed. Synchronization not required." Date the 12th of June, '64. The day of object closure. A ceramic cup at the edge of the table. Inside, remnants of coffee residue. Liquid evaporated. The residue retained a distinct pattern of concentric rings. The structure of the residue indicates recent evaporation under conditions of active air circulation, not a process of 10 years duration. Temperature at the center of the hall is higher than near the walls. Source of heating not identified. All electrical devices are without power. In Sector B2, a functioning electromechanical calendar was discovered. It displays the date the 12th of June. Year absent. Power source not identified. In residential block number 1, the beds are made. Lockers contain engineering service uniforms. No agency markings present. In one of the lockers, a uniform is arranged differently. The hanger is displaced relative to standard position. In the officer's mess, a chair is pulled away from the table. According to photographic records from sealing in '64, all chairs were pushed in. The discrepancy was recorded as possible foundation settlement. At 0308, the agent was in the corridor of Sector B4. Footstep echoes returned with anomalous delay. Acoustic behavior of the space does not correspond to its physical dimensions according to design documentation. At 0314, the agent was in the archive room of Sector C. An extraneous sound was registered. Character door closing. Source localized in residential block number 2. The agent immediately conducted a sector check. Visual inspection revealed no changes. All doors remained in their prior positions. The dust layer was undisturbed. No movement traces detected. The nature of the sound was not established. In the technical compartment of the elevator shaft, a winch mechanism of an auxiliary lift was discovered. Moving parts are coated with preservative lubricant. No dust present on the lubricant surface. 2 explanations possible: the mechanisms moved recently, or dust does not settle here for reasons not established. Inspection concluded at 0342. No signs of presence of unauthorized persons detected. No signs of forced entry identified. The object remains in a state of preservation stasis. The agent proceeded toward the elevator car for return to the surface. The agent reached the elevator shaft at 0347. The car doors were closed. According to protocol, the car had been left in door hold mode. Forced closure was not performed. The agent activated the call button. System response followed after 8 seconds. The doors opened. Inside the car, an ozone odor was detected. Concentration higher than during descent, characteristic of an area with recent operation of high-voltage equipment. The agent entered the car. The control panel showed no visible changes. However, instruments registered a residual electromagnetic field within the enclosed car space. The nature of the field was not established. The car initiated ascent at 0351. Speed corresponded to standard parameters. Movement was smooth. The first 10 seconds of ascent proceeded without deviation. At the level between -3 and -2, the car decelerated sharply. A full stop did not occur. Speed dropped to a minimum. Duration of deceleration 3 seconds. Instruments recorded a brief electromagnetic impulse. Direction from below upward. Intensity higher than during descent. The car resumed normal ascent speed. At 0354, an extraneous sound was registered. The source was localized deep within the shaft below the car. Sound character: a single dull impact, consistent with contact of a heavy metallic object with a concrete surface. No repeated impacts were recorded. The car reached the 0 level without further deviation. Doors opened at 0358. The agent exited the car. Standby lighting in the building lobby was operating in normal mode. Security personnel reported no external anomalies during the period of the agent presence at the site. The agent prepared a preliminary report. Principal findings follow. Sublevel -4 is structurally stable. No signs of spatial degradation detected. Standby lighting systems are functioning from an unidentified power source. Temperature anomalies and acoustic effects were recorded inconsistent with the condition of a hermetically sealed preserved object. Minor discrepancies were identified in object placement relative to photographic records from '64. Agent recommendation: conduct full isolation of sublevel -4 from the building elevator system. Eliminate the possibility of repeated unauthorized access. On the 15th of October, the Analytical Division of the department reviewed the report. Object status was changed from integrity verification to preservation protocol breach. A decision was made to install an additional concrete barrier of 30 centimeters thickness directly beneath the technical sump level. Prevent physical descent of the car below the 0 reference. Modify elevator control electrical circuits. Exclude the possibility of reserve relay activation through the car panel. Remove physical buttons on the panel not corresponding to the current number of building floors. Technical work was carried out from the 17th through the 19th of October under supervision of the Department Operational Group. On the 19th of October, during installation of the concrete barrier, an automatic tape recorder was placed within the shaft technical recess. Purpose calibration of acoustic background following completion of work. Recording continued for 40 minutes. At the 37th minute, a deviation from baseline indicators was registered. On the 20th of October, an integrity inspection of the installed barrier was conducted. A temperature anomaly was recorded. The lower surface of the concrete slab was warmer than the upper surface. Heat flow direction from below upward. The source of heating was not established. Upon completion of the work, elevator car number 9 was returned to general operation. Verification confirmed complete absence of system response to entry of the previously valid access code. Physical possibility of descent below the 0 reference was eliminated. The case was declared closed on the 22nd of October 1974. The object was transferred to passive containment status. The Department of Spatial Integrity terminated active presence at the site. However, an additional report was appended to the case dated the 27th of October. On the 26th of October at 5:23, a night security guard of the Daly Center contacted the dispatch service. He reported extraneous sounds originating from the area of elevator shaft number 9. The guard proceeded toward the shaft to conduct a visual inspection. Communication with the guard was lost at 5:28. The day shift located the guard at 6:45. Location technical corridor of the 0 level, immediately adjacent to the sealed entrance to shaft number 9. The guard was conscious. No physical injuries were recorded. However, the condition was classified as shock. During attempted contact, the guard repeatedly stated one phrase: "They asked to open, said the shift was over, time to go up." A medical team transported the guard to a hospital. Diagnosis: acute stress reaction of undetermined etiology. During a follow-up interview 2 days later, the guard stated he did not recall the events of the night of the 26th of October. Last memory: the beginning of the building patrol at 23:00. Next memory: awakening in the hospital. The period from 23:00 to 6:45 is completely absent from memory. The report was transmitted to the department on the 29th of October. Decision recorded the incident as an addendum to case 74-912. Further investigation deemed inadvisable. The Building Operations Service received a recommendation not to deploy security personnel to the technical areas of the 0 level during nighttime hours without department authorization. In 1976, the Operations Service submitted a series of complaints. Content elevator car number 9 periodically performs spontaneous descents at night. Movement without a call. Stop at the 0 level. Automatic return. No technical cause was identified. The complaints were forwarded to the department. Decision: leave without response. Repeated inquiries regarding the Daly Center object are subject to automatic rejection. In 1985, during archive digitization, a pencil notation was discovered in the margin of the agent report. Author not identified. Text: the mechanisms continue the cycle. Preservation is not the termination of function. The date of the notation was not indicated. The case was transferred to Deep Storage Archive. The object remains in passive containment status.